Alright, so hello everybody. You need to go away. Welcome to Historian Stitch. My apologies. It's just warm enough for flies, but not quite warm enough to make it uncomfortable for me to be sitting in full 1800s wear, including what I am talking about today on this Fashion Friday, is of, pardon me, corsetry. I am actually working on Miss Naomi's corset again. We have progressed further into actually having the main material cut now, not just the mock-ups, because after the second time of cutting it out, we met at Hobby Lobby and I put it on her and we tightened the laces and she's happy with it and I'm happy with it now. All we had to do for the main one now is move the back. This one has straps on it, as 1820s rural corsets, I'm assuming, probably constantly did, just to keep it from falling down. We had to move the back strap over about 2 inches, so that's all I had to do before I cut it out. I cut it. I don't know how many lines on this one to do, and cording channels to make, and then I have to do the rest of the pieces as well. Once I have those pieced all together, then I'm going to put them together, rather than just a Fashion Friday video. This is turning into my How To Wednesday plus Fashion Friday. I meant to talk about part 2 of going from a mock-up to your actual garment and how to make it on Wednesday. That didn't happen. I will also be doing our post of the week later today. I meant to do that on Monday or Tuesday, ran out of time and energy, and that's basically what's happened for the past 3 weeks. Didn't have time nor energy, so it didn't happen. I apologize. But in the process of, there's a segue into what we're talking about today briefly. While I was trying this mock-up on Naomi and getting her into it and making sure it was fitting properly and where it was supposed to, we started talking about the various corsets throughout time, which is essentially all of 3 different styles of your 17th and 18th century straight, very boxy bodices, your late 18th century into the early 19th century, so 1820s Regency-ish corsetry, and then your Victorian era of the kind of almost hourglass shape, lots of triangles and not very straight shapes, and then you go back into the boxy shapes for the 1900s. We started talking about them and how they fit and what they look like, and we started describing them in terms of what they would look like if they were modern day bras. So for you gentlemen watching, I apologize. One of these days I will have enough information on gentlemen's corsetry, because it did exist, even if it hid itself in the fashion of waistcoats and vest wear. They did wear them. Some of them not quite so discreetly, but they did have corsets as well. You all just don't have the same equivalent that you still wear today. So what we came up with for, and I'm going to tell you here as Fashion Friday, is your very boxy corsets that I tend to look at and say that looks very much 17th and 18th century, so 1600s, 1700s. It's shaped and pulls you in more the same way as a sports bra would. So it holds you in place. You're not going to bend over and suddenly fall out of your corset or bra, whichever variation you want to stick with this. It's functional, it does what it's supposed to, it just doesn't necessarily make it pretty. It's just box. Um, and then, as historians, we like to talk about pendulum swingings of, especially in the terms of religion, that tends to be a really easy way of explaining how, especially in England in Tudor Stuart era, the whole religion thing worked of a pendulum swinging back and forth. You go in the way of corsets, you go straight from boxy shape to all the boob. Um, where you have your 1820s corsets where it pushes you up, and they're basically push-up bras. Um, some of them are actually short enough to actually look like bras. This one, however, is not. This one still has very much that 16th and 17th century feel to it because it's still holding you in. But the only reason this one does that is because it is what a farmer's wife would be wearing, basically. It is a rural corset, hence why it is corded instead of specifically boned, though even what I am wearing is steel boned rather than corded. It has some cording in it, but not much. This is made to be worked in and flexible, and you can do what you need to without falling out. So this is that weird mixture of push-up bra, but also sports bra. Whereas once you get into the Victorian era, you very much have your just like normal everyday wear bra. I have definitely worn my corset under t-shirts and just in my everyday wear because I love this thing. It fits the way it's supposed to compared to the bras you buy in the store. Um, Basically, it's supposed to give you support, it holds you in, but it's still flattering if you wear the right clothing with it. Um, so yeah, and then we go back to the boxy shapes, and then we go back to the. It's like we reuse the same three corset patterns every 20, 30 years because despite what we think in the fashion world, we are not creative creatures. The only thing creative we seem to do is in the fabric patterning. Sorry. Where you go from massive flower print to tiny flower print and all the stripes to none of the stripes and solid colors because apparently prints are not fashionable all of a sudden, and then we swing back to all the rest of the insanity again. So, um, basically that's our Fashion Friday. I might do another post of the week on corsetry again, since I know a little bit more than I used to. I did one last year, I believe it was, and need to do another one. Though when I do that other one, I will also be posting links to a lot of other YouTubers who do historic clothing as well, and obviously wear it more often than they wear their modern clothes. Because they're busting myths that everyone looks at you and talks about. My favorite one that I watched last night was, "Are you hot in that?" And they were talking about answering that question and whether it was an actual problem or not when you're wearing 10 layers versus 1. Um, so when I do that post of the week, I will tag those posts into it. And finally, before I leave you all alone and spare you of my rambling, I told everybody that I would do, or I would tell you when I got my website put up, and I did. I'm super excited. Still working on it technically because website creating is never finished. There's never really a good time to say, yep, it's done. Basically, I have the commissioning set up on there. You can send me an email from that site. But the main things I have for sale on there already are 3 different size bags, mainly for ladies, but I also have haversacks available. Once the material gets here, that is. There will be 7 different colors of those ladies' bags, half of which will be embroidered, which will kind of bump the price up from what it says on there, but it is still in availability. That doesn't seem quite right for how that's supposed to be said, but there it is. As well as the shawls. I will do blankets if you would rather have a blanket rather than a shawl. Scarves are always an option. And then fingerless mitts. If you want a historic pair from the 1850s, 1860s, I will find a pattern that is in crochet rather than knit. Mom's been making knitted ones, and they look super easy, but if I tried it right now, it would not go well. But yeah, I believe that's it. With the commissionings, it can be anything from menswear to ladies' wear. Any time frame. If you want something extremely specific, if you have a picture of it, that would be great. If it's going to be coming from a pattern, that works too, but I much more enjoy sitting and trying to pick apart pictures than I do cutting out patterns and pinning them and cutting the fabric and going that route with it, because it's much more personal. It'll fit you the way it needs to, or the way you want it to, and we can do whatever you want with it. So if you want anything changed about the pattern or about the picture, we can do it. So yeah, I will tag the web page below. If it doesn't work, the website is www.historianstitch.com. And yeah, if that doesn't work, there is always our Facebook page. And with that, I will see you all next time. Hopefully next Wednesday. I will try and do needle tatting, possibly. I talked about it in a how-to, not in a how-to, in a Tune-Up Tuesday post. But I will try and show you guys how to actually do it, because considering how long I've been doing it, I've gotten pretty good, if I do say so myself. So I'll show y'all how to do that as well, and I will see you all next time. Bye, have a good day!